The night begins softly. Lanterns flicker along the marble corridors of Topkapı Palace, their light bending on polished stone. The air moves slowly, carrying a faint scent of rose and burning oil. Beyond the walls, the Bosporus breathes in long, steady rhythms, a sound as old as the empire itself. The sea presses against the foundation stones, whispering to the wind. Inside the palace, time feels suspended. Every corner, every arch, every pool of shadow holds the weight of centuries. The sound of a single sandal against the floor seems large enough to disturb the night. The world has drawn itself inward, folded in silk and silence. Within these high walls, hundreds of women sleep in orderly rows beneath painted ceilings. The ceilings are blue and gold, where angels and stars drift above the quiet beds. The air is heavy with the faint perfume of rosewater and musk. From a distance, it might seem peaceful, a picture of perfect stillness. Yet even in rest, the harem does not truly sleep. Dreams here are not careless things. They are measured, cautious, shaped by memory and expectation. You are one of them, a new arrival. The weight of the palace still feels foreign to your body. You have not yet learned how to move in silence, or how to lower your eyes without appearing afraid. You lie awake, listening to the soft breathing of the women around you. Their breaths rise and fall together, forming a rhythm that is both human and mechanical, like the sound of waves beyond the wall. The wind outside moves through carved screens and over-tiled domes. Somewhere beyond your chamber, a small bell rings, not the bell of prayer, but of order. Its tone is light and brief, yet it carries through the corridors like a ripple in water. It is a signal that the night's stillness is ending. Soon, the rituals of mourning will begin. You open your eyes. The first thing you see is the soft gleam of silk curtains swaying gently with the air. The fabric is the color of cream and sand, embroidered with gold thread. Beyond the curtain, the faint outline of a lamp glows. The room is dim, but every object seems deliberate. A bowl of dried petals, a folded robe, a copper pitcher left from evening ablution. Nothing here is accidental. You sit up slowly, letting the silk blanket slide down to your lap. The cool air meets your skin. Beside you, another woman stirs, then settles again into the comfort of sleep. You do not know her name. Names in this world come slowly. People are first observed, then remembered. Friendship is not a beginning here. It is an outcome. You listen. Every sound matters. The shuffling of servants' feet in the distant hallway. The faint brush of fabric as someone turns in their bed. The low murmur of water moving through hidden pipes that feed the baths. Each sound belongs to the same rhythm, steady, patient, unbroken. The palace seems to breathe. You can almost feel it, the slow expansion and contraction of the night air through the long corridors, the secret chambers, the endless sequence of doors. The harem is not simply a place, it is a living organism. It watches itself. You stand. The floor beneath you is cool, made of white and grey marble, its veins like delicate streams. Your bare feet trace the same pattern that countless others have followed before. The scent of rose oil lingers on your fingertips from the night before. The oil was meant to soften your skin, but it has also marked you with the fragrance of this world. A world of beauty designed for observation. Somewhere down the corridor, a gate opens. A soft clatter of metal rings follows, then the muted voices of the eunuchs who guard the inner quarters. Their words are brief, practical, and low. You cannot hear them clearly, yet their presence is unmistakable. They are the boundaries of this life, neither hostile nor kind, but precise. You begin to prepare yourself for the day, though dawn is still far away. The rules require you to be ready before the light. You smooth your hair with quiet hands, bind it with a strip of linen, and adjust your simple robe. Each action feels both personal and prescribed. Even the smallest gesture here has a form, a history, an invisible observer. You move toward the curtain, careful not to make the fabric sway too much. The hall beyond is lit by a few oil lamps, their flames steady and small. The air carries the faint sound of footsteps. The women of higher rank already rising, their attendants moving in quiet procession. You step out, your body aligning with the rhythm around you. No one speaks loudly. Voices are meant to glide, not cut. You walk past a long wall covered in calligraphy. The words are verses painted in blue and gold. You cannot read all of them, but the shapes are comforting. They seem to hum as if the wall itself is reciting softly to whoever passes. Farther ahead, a large arched window opens toward the courtyard. Through it, the faintest hint of dawn appears. Not light yet, only the pale silver of anticipation. You pause there, feeling the air drift in from outside. It smells of water, salt, and distant gardens. The palace remains quiet, but you sense movement. An invisible order beginning to unfold. Servants will soon bring water for washing. The older women will begin the chants that mark the transition from night to morning. The eunuchs will open and close doors, their actions timed to the pulse of tradition. You stand still and breathe. The marble beneath your feet holds a trace of warmth from the previous day. Above, the lamps sway gently as the wind moves through the passage. You realize that in this place, the line between night and day is thin. It is not drawn by light, but by sound, by the first footstep, the first door, the first whisper of routine. You think of the world beyond the palace, of streets, of voices that rise freely, of skies without domes. Yet the thought passes quickly. The harem does not encourage imagination, it encourages presence. The task is not to dream of elsewhere, but to live within the pattern given to you. For now, your task is simple. To be awake, to be still, to learn the rhythm. In time, perhaps, to be remembered. The night continues its slow transformation. The bell rings once more, softer than before. You turn toward the sound, and the curtain stirs behind you. The woman beside you has risen. Her eyes meet yours briefly, then move away. Words are unnecessary. The day is beginning. Somewhere deeper in the palace, water begins to flow through the pipes of the baths. The sound is clear, continuous, like breath returning to a sleeping body. You follow it in your mind, tracing its path through stone and shadow. You step back into your room and sit again for a moment. The stillness has changed. It is no longer the stillness of night, but the calm before ceremony. You lower your eyes, letting them rest on the folds of silk, on the golden edge of the curtain, on the single lantern that burns without wavering. Soon you will join the others. You will wash, prepare, and move through the long rituals that make up a day in the palace. But for now, you remain here in the final moment between darkness and duty. Outside, the Bosporus continues its quiet rhythm, the sea breathing against the stones. Inside, the palace breathes in answer. And in that shared rhythm, sea and stone, breath and silence. The night in Topkapı slowly gives itself to dawn. Morning rituals and the art of perfection. The morning begins before the sun. A faint light rests across the stone walls, almost colorless like breath on glass. The air is cool and still, carrying a scent of oils and crushed petals that drift from the bowls set out the night before. The sound of footsteps is distant, softened by carpets. Everything moves in slow rhythm, as if time itself has not yet decided to begin. You sit before a mirror framed in ivory. Its surface holds more than your reflection. It holds a measure of what the day expects of you. A calm face, steady hands, and a kind of quiet that is not peace but discipline. The mirror is small, yet it contains an entire world: light, gesture, expectation. Behind you, a servant works in silence. She is younger than you, and her presence is steady. The brush moves through your hair with slow, deliberate strokes. The motion is careful, neither rushed nor indulgent, practiced in a way that erases itself. The act of grooming becomes something beyond vanity. It is part of order, part of belonging. 10 minutes. That is all the time allowed for transformation. 10 minutes to arrange beauty until it seems untouched by effort. The rule is not written, but it is known by everyone. Grace must appear natural. Perfection must seem effortless. You lift a small vial of rose oil. The scent is faint, almost transparent, as if meant to be remembered more than noticed. The oil glistens across your skin, catching the grey morning light. Another hand brings the powdered pearl dust, pressing it softly against your cheeks. The fine particles settle like mist, pale and cool. A thin line of kohl circles the eyes, widening them into quiet pools that hold no secrets. Each gesture is slow, measured, ritualized, a practice repeated until it no longer feels like choice. Around you, the room hums with quiet motion. Others prepare in the same silence. You sense them more than you see them. A sleeve, brushing fabric, a faint sigh, the rustle of silk. There is no conversation, yet presence fills the air. Each woman knows her place within this shared choreography. The harem wakes not with sound, but with awareness. Every woman here is trained to perfection. The training is not about beauty alone, it is about poise, precision, and restraint, learning how to move so that movement itself disappears. Eyes that seem serene may conceal entire storms of thought. Smiles that appear gentle are weighed and measured before they reach the lips. The art is not in expression, but in control. Smiles are not warmth, they are language. A nod can mean agreement or defiance, depending on who sees it. A greeting can carry gratitude or warning, depending on the tone. Even stillness can speak, a silence that chooses when to begin and when to end. To live here is to learn the grammar of gestures. You have entered a world where beauty serves both as weapon and shield. Here, plainness is not innocence, it is invisibility. To be unnoticed is to fade from relevance, and in this place, fading is a kind of disappearance. Yet to shine too brightly is to attract eyes that weigh and measure every flaw. Between the two edges lies a narrow space, the space where survival takes its shape. So you balance there. You polish the surface, but never too much. You breathe softly. You watch without seeming to watch. You learn the rhythm of existing without intrusion. From the corridor beyond the chamber comes a low murmur. The sound moves like wind through the walls, a sign that the eunuchs are near. Their footsteps echo with calm precision. When they enter, the air shifts slightly. They move with quiet authority, tall figures in dark robes that fall in straight lines against the marble floor. Their presence is not threatening, yet it reminds everyone of structure. of the distance between freedom and form. The room stills. Brushes pause. The faint sound of jewelry being adjusted stops. Only the footsteps remain. In their hands, the eunuchs carry scrolls and small tokens wrapped in silk. They will announce the day's assignments, who will attend lessons in music or language, who will serve at the sultan's table, who will accompany the Valide Sultan, the mother of the ruler, in her morning audience. Each decision seems minor, yet every one of them can alter a life. The reading begins without ceremony. One voice speaks, the others listen. Each name is followed by a brief note, a direction, a gesture. The order is smooth, practiced, faces remain still. Joy and disappointment are private things here, kept beneath the surface like hidden ink. Your name appears at the middle of the list. The words that follow are plain. A neutral assignment, neither privilege nor punishment. A lesson in etiquette, a small duty, nothing of danger or distinction. You lower your eyes slightly, as is proper, and breathe in a quiet rhythm. Relief comes not as joy but as ease, a small release that moves through the chest and disappears before it can become visible. The eunuchs finish their reading. One folds the scroll again, ties it with a cord, and leaves. The others follow. The sound of their steps fades down the hall until only the soft murmur of conversation returns. The room exhales. The first test of the day has passed and you remain balanced in the same calm space as before. Outside, light begins to form. It arrives first as reflection, thin lines of gold that touch the tips of the domes, the edge of the courtyard, the mirrored surface of the fountain. The air changes temperature, carrying a faint trace of warmth. Somewhere beyond the harem walls, the city of Istanbul stirs. The sound of a cart on stone, a call from the harbour, a voice drifting through open air. You will not see these things, yet you sense them, like a pulse beneath the marble. Inside, the morning continues with quiet order. Servants move through the hallways with trays of water and cloth. The scent of jasmine grows stronger as doors open. In the baths, steam rises and fades through the small windows above the domes. Nothing here rushes. Even the light seems to follow a measured rhythm. You sit once more before the mirror. The reflection now carries the faint glow of morning. It is softer than candlelight, more forgiving. You look into your own eyes and see a calm surface. Not pride, not fear, only awareness. This is what is expected, to be present, composed, and unbroken. Around you, voices begin to blend into the quiet pattern of the day. Some recite verses, others whisper instructions. The tone is even without urgency. The palace is awake, but the stillness remains underneath, like the steady beat beneath music. You rise and adjust the folds of your robe. The fabric falls neatly along the lines of your body. The servant collects the combs and brushes, places them back into a small, lacquered box, and steps away. Her work is done for now. In the corridor, the first light reaches the marble floor. It gleams faintly, and the warmth spreads slowly through the stone. The palace breathes, its rhythm unchanged. The city outside will continue its noise, its open movement, its life of markets and streets. But here, within these walls, the day will unfold according to design, an unbroken sequence of gestures, tasks, and watchful silence. For those within the harem, morning is not a beginning, it is continuation. It is the gentle turning of a wheel that never stops, a return to the same polished pattern. The art of perfection is not in achieving it once, but in maintaining it always without visible effort, without rest. You take one last look at the mirror. The face that looks back is calm, finished, ready. The oil, the pearl, the coal, all arranged as though they have always been there. You rise, feeling the faint touch of sunlight against your skin, and step into the corridor where the air smells of jasmine and quiet ambition. The bathhouse, the politics of steam. Later in the morning, the hammam awaits. The path to it winds through long corridors of white marble where light gathers and softens. You walk barefoot, your steps almost soundless. The air is cooler here, touched by the faint trace of water drifting beneath the floors. As you near the bath, warmth begins to rise from the stone. Steam flows through the arches like pale clouds, moving slowly, filling the space between light and surface. The scent of soap and crushed herbs hovers in the air. It is both familiar and new, a quiet reminder that everything here is designed to soothe and observe at once. The doorway opens into a chamber of mist. Shapes appear and vanish as the steam thickens. Laughter echoes, not loud, not careless, but measured. It rolls softly against the marble and dissolves into silence. The sound is pleasant, but it belongs to the performance of ease. In the hammam, nakedness is not freedom, it is form. The body here is not private, it is another layer of communication. The older concubines move with calm grace, their gestures slow and practiced. They glide through the mist like pale birds across water. Elegant, deliberate, contained. Each movement carries history. Their beauty is steady, unhurried. To the new eyes watching, they seem untouchable, as if their years in the palace have polished them into symbols rather than people. You step into the chamber quietly, the sound of water surrounding you. The floor is warm beneath your feet, and droplets of steam gather along your arms. The air is dense, but soft. You move toward the central pool where the water glows faintly from the lamps set along the walls. You lower yourself in slowly. The warmth folds around you, holding you in its even rhythm. For a moment, the world feels distant. The voices, the rules, the waiting, all softened by water and vapor. You breathe in the scent of lavender and lemons. The aroma drifts lightly, almost invisible, mixing with the mineral scent of the stone. Attendants move quietly among the women. They carry bowls of oil, folded towels embroidered with silver thread, and small bundles of herbs tied with string. They work without words, reading gestures instead of instructions. A raised hand, a small nod, a shift of the shoulder. Each becomes a language. Around you, conversation begins in low tones. It is never direct. One woman asks another about a perfume, another mentions a dream. The words are simple, but underneath them is another dialogue entirely, quiet and careful. Every glance here holds a kind of weight. Every silence is a choice. You keep your posture steady, your gaze soft, your voice almost absent. The water moves gently around you. From time to time, a ripple touches your skin and fades. You learn quickly that stillness is a kind of shield. In a place where every gesture can be read, calmness is a form of invisibility. The bath is not only a place for cleansing, it is a gathering of power arranged in warmth and mist. You notice where people sit, who is near the elder women, who is invited into their circle, who waits quietly on the edges. Some speak in fragments, others listen. No one interrupts. Even the pauses between words seem intentional. One woman leans closer to another, her lips curving into a quiet smile. A secret passes between them, sealed in the mist. Their voices are barely audible, their laughter restrained. Another woman, older, quieter, observes from across the pool. Her gaze moves slowly, assessing. For a brief moment, her eyes meet yours. The contact is light but steady, like a fingertip against glass. You hold it for a breath, then lower your gaze as custom dictates. When you look again, she has turned away, her face calm, unreadable. Yet her attention lingers within you, an invisible mark. You understand then that the hammam is not separate from the rest of the palace. It is an extension of its order, a quieter, more fluid arena where alliances form and dissolve without words. Here, laughter replaces argument, proximity replaces declaration. To sit beside someone is to be recognized, to be ignored is to be measured. Steam blurs the outlines of everything. The marble walls gleam faintly through the haze. Drops of water slide down the tiles and disappear into the drains carved beneath the stone. Above, the domed ceiling catches the light from the oil lamps, turning it soft and golden. The attendants pour warm water over your shoulders. It flows down your arms, a smooth, continuous touch that feels less like service than like ceremony. The warmth enters your skin, leaving behind a faint sheen of oil. You close your eyes, letting the rhythm of the water guide your breath. Around you, the sounds blend together. Water, whispers, movement. The bath breathes as the palace does, slow and deliberate. Time stretches. There is no clear sense of how long you have been here. When you open your eyes, the steam has thickened, the shapes around you shift and soften. It is easy to imagine that the walls themselves are exhaling, that the whole space is alive. You begin to recognize patterns. One woman is always served first, another always waits until last. A gesture as small as offering a towel can reveal who holds quiet influence. Even the order in which people leave the pool is watched and remembered. The hammam teaches a silent education. It shows how the invisible rules of the harem move beneath the surface, through looks, through gestures, through the small acts that decide belonging. No one explains this. You learn by noticing. Your skin glows with warmth. The water catches faint light, reflecting it against the ceiling. You feel polished, lighter, but your thoughts remain still. Beneath the calm, a sense of observation continues, a quiet awareness that beauty here is not an end but a measure. When it is time to leave, an attendant brings you a towel, soft and embroidered along the edges. You rise slowly, letting the water fall away from your skin. The air outside the pool feels cooler now, the mist wrapping around your body like a thin veil. You dry your hands and arms, then your face, taking care not to rush. Each motion belongs to the same rhythm that began the day. Deliberate, composed, continuous. Around you, the others are doing the same. Some exchange brief smiles, others remain silent. There is no true separation between the ritual and the observation. The act of bathing is as much about being seen as it is about being clean. When you leave the chamber, your skin carries the scent of lavender and oil. The light outside seems sharper after the mist. You walk once more across the marble floors, your bare feet leaving faint traces of moisture that vanish almost immediately. You have completed your first bath. You are polished, perfumed, and calm. The air in the corridor feels wider, as if the palace has stretched itself open again. Yet beneath the calm surface of your thoughts, a new understanding settles. Quiet, almost invisible. Here, beauty is a kind of language. It is traded gently, silently, through attention and restraint, To exist within it is to learn how to move without disturbance, how to shine without burning, how to be seen without revealing. You continue down the hall, your steps slow, your breath even. The sound of the bath fades behind you, replaced by the faint echoes of the palace returning to its rhythm. The morning continues, seamless and bright. The water has left your skin warm, your body light, and your mind alert. You know now that in this place nothing is ever only what it seems. The hammam was not only a sanctuary, it was a mirror. And within its steam, you have begun to see the outlines of the world you must learn to navigate. The eunuchs, keepers of order. The air in the corridors has cooled again after the warmth of the bathhouse. The marble beneath your feet feels smoother now, its surface faintly damp where the morning mist still clings. Light slips quietly across the stone walls, reflecting from brass lanterns that hang in perfect symmetry. The palace breathes in a rhythm that never changes, measured, silent, and sure. You walk slowly as you have learned to do. Here, every step has meaning. Every pause is noticed. At each intersection, a figure stands. The eunuchs, dark-robed, still and watchful, occupy the crossroads of the harem like living gates. They do not move unless there is cause, and even then, their gestures are as controlled as the flow of water through the palace channels. Their silence governs this place as firmly as any royal decree. They are the keepers of movement, who enters, who departs, who lingers too long at a door not meant for them. The rhythm of life within these walls passes first through their observation. To those outside the harem, they are stories. To travelers, they are mysteries woven from rumor and distance, figures half feared, half revered, surrounded by the strange aura of service without identity. But to you, living within their gaze, they are something else entirely. They are the invisible line between safety and disappearance. You learn quickly what must never be done. Never whisper when one is near, never mention names, and never offer gifts or favors. These are not rules that anyone writes or speaks aloud. They exist in the way silence gathers around the eunuchs, in the way their eyes pass briefly over a conversation and the words fall away unfinished. They are not cruel, and they are not kind. They are simply absolute. Their purpose is clarity, the maintenance of order so refined that it becomes invisible. They do not shout, they do not threaten. Their presence is reminder enough. The corridors themselves seem to hold their discipline, as if the stone remembers centuries of quiet footsteps and measured tones. You begin to understand their rhythm. Their movements are sparse, precise, almost graceful. When they walk, their robes shift like shadow. When they stop, the air stills around them. Their loyalty does not belong to the women of the harem, nor even to the sultan in his private chambers. It belongs to the Valide Sultan, the sultan's mother, the woman whose authority extends through every threshold and silence. Through her, the eunuchs enforce the unbroken structure that allows the palace to exist as a contained world. They see everything and they speak of nothing. And because they speak of nothing, every word that does pass through them carries twice the weight. A message repeated by a eunuch is not rumor, it is record. A gesture acknowledged by one is not casual, it is recognition. In time, you begin to sense when they are near, even before you see them. There is a subtle change in the air, a faint tightening of attention among those around you. Conversations slow. The space fills with a quiet that is not fear, but something close to reverence. You learn the small rituals that protect you. A respectful nod in passing, a word of thanks, spoken softly but clearly. Never too familiar, never too distant. Respect here is not ceremony, it is currency. And obedience, carefully given, is a form of protection. Each gesture becomes a thread woven carefully into their memory. Over days, then weeks, they come to know your presence, not your face, but the rhythm of your movement. The pace of your walk, the way you lower your eyes when passing the central gate, the slight turn of your shoulders when you bow. They remember these things not because they must, but because that is their nature. Their knowledge builds quietly, layer upon layer, until the harem itself feels like an organism whose senses extend through them. At times, you glimpse the trace of something beyond duty in their eyes. Not sympathy, but understanding. They know the weight of hierarchy. They know how lives are arranged here, not always by choice, but by design. Their own existence reflects this truth. Once men, now remade into servants of silence, their bodies altered to ensure trust. The empire entrusted them with its most guarded spaces, not because they were powerless, but because they were unbound by ordinary desire. They are the watchers of what must remain unseen. And in that role, they have become part of the architecture itself, living pillars within the corridors of discipline. You pass one now, standing at the turn of a hall. His robe is dark against the pale marble, his hands are hidden within his sleeves, his gaze is level but not sharp. It moves across you and continues onward. Yet something in the exchange anchors you. A small acknowledgement that you exist, that your place here is known and recorded. It is not approval, it is not warmth, but it steadies you more than a prayer. Because in this world, to be recognized is to belong, however briefly. And to belong is to remain safe for another day. You think of how many eyes move through these corridors, how many stories pass in silence. The eunuchs know them all. Who receives a new garment from the valide's chamber, who changes rooms, who lingers by the fountain too long. They know the unseen patterns of favor and the small signs of fall. They are the memory of the harem, walking quietly from one threshold to another. Their authority is measured not by force, but by precision. A lifted hand can pause a procession, a word softly spoken can decide an evening, and yet they do not act from malice. Their actions follow the geometry of order, where every motion must have reason, every reason must serve the whole. As you move deeper into the palace, you begin to see how their presence threads through everything. The sound of their steps marks the rhythm of the day. Their shadows cross the tiled floors like clock hands, measuring time not in hours but in control. Sometimes you catch fragments of their world, a small chamber lined with scrolls, a shelf of sealed boxes, a candle burning beside a ledger. Their tasks reach beyond the visible, recording gifts, verifying messages, ensuring that no gesture escapes the valida's notice. Through them, the harem breathes evenly. Without them, it would dissolve into chaos. When evening approaches and the corridors dim, their figures remain. Lantern light flickers across their robes, catching small glints of metal threads at the seams. They stand quietly, their silhouettes steady against the shifting glow. You pass again, offering a bow. One inclines his head slightly, a movement so small it could be imagined, yet you feel it like a benediction. The gesture is not kindness, it is acknowledgement, a mark that you are seen, catalogued, remembered. It is enough. The night continues its quiet descent through the palace. From distant halls, faint music drifts. A lute, a soft drum, voices murmuring. But here the silence holds stronger. The eunuchs remain at their post, the keepers of passage, the guardians of rhythm. Their stillness becomes the balance against which all motion measures itself. As you walk away, you realize how essential they are, not as symbols, but as structure. They are the framework that allows the harem to exist in its fragile order. They see all things and by their silence, preserve them. You move past the final intersection into the dim light of your chamber. Behind you, the corridor narrows again into quiet. You breathe, slow and even. The palace rests upon many unseen foundations: marble, memory, and men who no longer belong to themselves. Their silence holds the shape of everything, and within that silence, you continue to learn how to live. The lesson halls. Morning returns with quiet precision. The corridors fill with light that has not yet reached the gardens. It settles along the floors and over the carved doorframes like a layer of dust made of gold. The sound of soft sandals, distant and steady, marks the beginning of another day. You follow the current of movement that leads toward the lesson halls, a part of the palace reserved for the shaping of manners, the polishing of thought. The air inside feels cooler, touched by the faint scent of ink and rosewater. The ceiling above is painted with long, flowing patterns, vines, blossoms, and fragments of script that seem to move when the light does. The tutors are already there. One stands before the group, his voice measured, reciting verses in Turkish that drift through the room like slow music. Another sits near the windows, reading from a Persian manuscript. The lines delicate, steady, filled with quiet rhythm. A third speaks softly of etiquette. How to greet without presumption, how to bow with the right degree of humility, how to speak in a way that flatters without excess. The women around you take their places with a calm born of repetition. They move gracefully, as if the act of sitting itself were an extension of the lesson. Their postures are straight but unforced, their faces composed. The room holds the kind of silence that listens. You join them, folding yourself into the rhythm of the morning. A servant places a tray of thread and cloth before you, a circle of fabric stretched tight in an embroidery frame, fine needles glinting at the edge. The first lesson of the day will be stitched, not spoken. The tutor speaks of patience, of precision, of beauty as a form of discipline. His words drift in the background as fingers begin to move. Threads of gold and red pass through silk, creating the soft outlines of tulips and vines. Each movement is small, almost invisible, yet it fills the space between breaths. The women work without hurry. Their hands rise and fall in the same quiet rhythm, their gestures smooth and practiced. The air hums faintly with the sound of thread sliding through cloth, a sound so light it could be mistaken for silence. You watch their movements carefully. The calmness they carry is not natural, it is learned. It is the result of years spent perfecting gestures until effort disappears. They seem carved from patience, every motion slow enough to erase the presence of time. You imitate them. Your hands move as theirs do, steady, deliberate, careful not to pull the thread too tightly. The tulip you stitch begins to take shape, small and imperfect, but alive with color. The lessons here are quiet but constant. They are not about knowledge in the sense of facts or ideas. They are about refinement, the shaping of tone, of posture, of response. you begin to understand that education in the harem is not meant to create wisdom, but to create presence. The tutors teach the art of conversation, the nuance of stillness, the balance between curiosity and restraint. You are told, learn to listen, learn to pause, learn to breathe before you answer. The words are spoken softly, almost like a prayer. You repeat them inwardly, not as instructions but as rhythm. And while you learn, you observe, you notice who enters the room after the lesson has begun, how she lowers her eyes, how others shift slightly to make room for her, how the tutor's gaze rests on her only for a moment. You see who receives the teacher's soft nod, who is offered an extra length of thread, who seems to carry invisible favor. No one speaks of competition here, yet it lives quietly in every corner. The silence is full of awareness. Each gesture, a small bow, a half smile, a glance at the window, reveals more than any word could. You learn to watch without staring, to listen without reacting. These are the lessons that matter most. The ones not written in books or spoken aloud. The tutors continue their rotation. The Persian scholar closes his manuscript and replaces it with another. His voice rises slightly as he reads of gardens, stars, and the passage of time. The women listen with the stillness of people trained to hear meaning beneath sound. Later, another instructor moves among you, correcting the angle of your thread, showing how to blend one shade of gold into another until the boundary disappears. His tone is quiet, almost impersonal. The lesson is not only about embroidery, but about the kind of precision that makes imperfection look deliberate. You realize that every subject taught here, poetry, law, history, music, shares the same purpose, not to inform, but to refine. Knowledge is filtered until only grace remains. The art of survival in the harem is built upon subtlety. To know too much is to draw attention. To know nothing is to vanish. The balance lies in seeming effortless, intelligent enough to be noticed, never sharp enough to threaten. Your eyes drift upward, following the patterns painted on the ceiling. The vines seem endless, curling in upon themselves. They remind you of the lessons, continuous, delicate, bound by invisible symmetry. Hours pass quietly. The tutors speak, the students work, and the room remains suspended in a state between thought and silence. The sound of distant fountains filters through the lattice windows, joining the hum of voices and the faint scrape of thread. When the sun reaches its highest point, a servant enters carrying trays of sherbet and small dishes of fruit. The tutors pause. A light breeze moves through the curtains, carrying the scent of oranges and sandalwood. Your fingers ache from the repetition of motion, but your mind feels clearer. The ache itself becomes part of the rhythm, a reminder that learning here is as much about endurance as understanding. You sip the sherbet slowly. It tastes cool and faintly sweet. Around you, quiet conversations begin. Fragments of poetry, small remarks about patterns of thread, polite comments that never reach opinion. No one raises their voice. No one interrupts. The conversation flows like water through narrow channels, guided by invisible rules. You realize that this too is a lesson, how to move within speech, how to fill a silence without breaking it. When the trays are taken away, the tutors return to their places. The rhythm resumes. More verses are recited, more threads are drawn. The day moves gently toward noon. By the time the final bell sounds, the light in the room has softened. It falls at an angle now, gilding the edge of each embroidery frame. The tutors gather their books, their gestures calm and practiced. The women rise, bowing slightly, their faces still composed in quiet grace. You set down your needle. The tulip on your fabric is complete, not perfect, but whole. Its petals shimmer faintly where the gold thread catches the light. Your hands are tired, yet steady. As you leave the hall, you understand something that cannot be written into instruction. To exist here is to learn how to see without appearing to look, to hear without seeming to listen. The lesson halls are more than rooms of learning. They are mirrors that shape reflection into habit. You step once more into the corridor where the air feels lighter. The sound of footsteps, the distant hum of conversation, the faint chime of metal on marble all merge into a single, measured tone. The day continues, and within its rhythm, another layer of understanding begins to unfold. Quiet, deliberate, unhurried. You walk on, carrying the silence of the lesson with you. It stays not as memory but as posture, a way of being that blends presence with restraint. In the world beyond the lesson halls, this will be your true education. The gift and the whisper. The afternoon arrives slowly, like a thought that has taken its time to form. Light drifts through the lattice windows, settling in faint squares across the floor. The sound of distant conversation fades and returns, soft as the rustle of silk. You are alone in your chamber, where the air feels still enough to hold its breath. Then comes the knock, a quiet, deliberate sound. Not urgent, not hesitant, simply present. A servant enters, head lowered, steps silent. In her hands, she carries a folded robe. She does not explain, and you do not ask. She sets it down before you, the fabric heavy with gold embroidery, the color a deep rose that glows faintly in the filtered light. There is no note, no message, only the weight of the gift itself. When she leaves, the quiet returns, but it is no longer the same quiet. It carries the echo of purpose, the slight tremor of uncertainty. You wait for a moment, as though expecting an explanation to arrive in the air. None comes. You unfold the robe, slowly. The silk spills across your hands, smooth, cool, deliberate. The golden vines, stitched along the edges, catch the light, shimmering softly, not in brilliance, but in restraint. It is beautiful. The kind of beauty that feels intentional. You run your fingers along the seams, noting the precision of the work. Whoever commissioned it knew your measurements, your shape, your quietness. The fit is exact before you even try it on. You have lived long enough within the palace to understand what this means. A gift here is never simply a gesture. It is a message, often layered, sometimes impossible to read. It can mean favor, it can mean warning, it can mean nothing, and yet that nothingness itself demands interpretation. Still, you lift the robe and hold it against your body. The fabric feels light, the weight perfectly balanced across your shoulders. You catch your reflection in the mirror. Rose silk, gold threads, skin warmed by light. For a brief second, you almost forget to breathe. You put it on anyway. The air changes as you move. The robe sways lightly with your steps, whispering across the floor. You sense its presence before you see it. The way it announces you, not loudly, but distinctly. You walk through the corridor that leads toward the central hall, and the shift is immediate. Conversations soften, laughter pauses, and a few heads turn, just slightly, just enough to acknowledge without acknowledging. No one asks, but eyes linger. A few smiles appear, polite and quiet, their meaning folded behind layers of civility. You return each with the same small gesture. Not too warm, not too distant. You continue walking, careful not to change your rhythm. To move differently now would be to confirm speculation, to pretend indifference is to protect yourself. The robe moves with you, graceful and silent. Yet it carries its own gravity, a soft reminder that you have, without choosing, entered the current of attention. Later, when you return to your chamber, the robe rests folded again on the chair. The scent of rosewater lingers in the air, subtle but distinct. You think of who might have sent it, but no answer feels safe. In this world, generosity and strategy are woven from the same thread. Evening falls without ceremony. The palace grows quieter, though not truly still. Lamps are lit, their light stretches long across the polished floors. Somewhere in the distance, a song rises from one of the inner courtyards, a voice tracing the slow pattern of an old melody. You listen without listening. Your thoughts remain with the robe. As night settles deeper, another sound comes, lighter than before. A small tap at the door, the kind that carries neither urgency nor secrecy, only habit. When you open it, no one stands there. Only a single flower lies on the step, a pink rose, its petals still damp, its stem wrapped in a thread of silk. You lift it gently, careful not to crush the bloom. The scent is faint, almost hesitant. You hold it for a moment, then look out into the corridor. Nothing moves. The air beyond the doorway is empty, unmarked by footsteps. You close the door again. The silence inside the room feels thicker now, filled with the presence of something unspoken. You do not search for meaning. You have learned that in the harem, meaning always carries a price. Instead, you open your prayer book, the one kept near your bedside, its pages worn smooth from use. You turn to a blank space near the middle, press the rose between the sheets, and close it slowly. The act feels neither symbolic nor sentimental. It is simply a way to keep the moment still, to hold it in silence where no one else can reach. You place the book beside your lamp and sit for a while. Outside, the wind moves faintly against the window lattice. You can hear the sea far away, its rhythm low and steady. In this palace, sound travels differently. It folds around corners, slides through doors, and lingers where no one expects it. Every whisper carries beyond its origin. Every small noise becomes a question. You have learned with time that silence is your safest language. It protects, it observes, it allows you to exist between meanings where safety and invisibility sometimes share the same shape. Attention here is a form of currency. To be seen is to be valued, but also to be measured. To be unseen is to vanish. You have often wondered which is the kinder fate, to fade or to tremble. The robe still lies within reach. Its color deepens under the lamplight, the gold thread catching faint glimmers. You trace a small section of the embroidery with your finger. The pattern is that of a vine, curling endlessly, without beginning or end. It seems to move with the light, as though alive. You think of how everything in this place moves the same way, slowly, beautifully, toward meanings that cannot be spoken aloud. The rose between the pages will dry, the robe will keep its color, the gesture, whatever it was, will remain unanswered. You do not need to name it. Naming makes things visible, and visibility can become danger. Instead, you choose stillness. You undress carefully, folding the robe as the servant had done, returning it to its quiet form. It feels heavier now, though nothing about it has changed. You place it where the light does not reach, beside the chest of linens, and turn down the lamp. The flame bends once, then steadies. Your room is full of the faint scent of silk and rose. You lie down, the sheets cool beneath your skin. The ceiling above you holds the same painted vines that thread through the corridors, repeating patterns that seem to have no conclusion. Your eyes trace them until they blur into shadow. Somewhere beyond the chamber walls, footsteps pass. Slow, even, measured. A door closes. Another opens. The palace continues its quiet pulse. In the distance, you hear laughter, then silence again. You breathe evenly, letting the air settle. In this place, moments do not end. They simply dissolve into one another. A gift, a look, a whisper. Each becomes part of a larger rhythm that no one fully understands. You think again of the robe and the rose, and of how easily something beautiful can carry the weight of uncertainty. Still, there is no fear, only the awareness that you are seen, however faintly, by eyes you cannot name. You close your eyes and let the thought pass. Sleep comes quietly, without promise or restlessness. It drifts like mist over water, soft and slow, blurring the edges of what is real and what is imagined. The robe remains folded, the rose pressed within your book. Both will wait for morning, and when morning comes, they will still mean everything and nothing, as all gifts do in the golden cage where silence is the only language that endures. Dinner in the Golden Hall. Evening in Topkapı arrives with a kind of stillness that feels rehearsed. The corridors soften under lamplight. The marble glows faintly, as though remembering the day's warmth. The air grows heavier with the mingled scents of saffron, roasted meat, honey, and rosewater. Somewhere beyond the inner courtyard, the call of a nightbird threads briefly through the silence, then fades. You walk toward the dining chamber in measured steps. Your robe trails lightly behind you, the silk almost whispering against the floor. Around you, other women move in quiet procession, their ornaments catching small fragments of light. Voices are low, the language of ceremony beginning before a word is spoken. The Golden Hall opens before you, vast, luminous, orderly. Every surface gleams. The lamps are set in perfect symmetry, their flames steady, their reflections multiplied in polished silver and glass. The tables are arranged in gentle arcs, each place marked by precision. A cup, a spoon, a folded napkin embroidered with gold thread. There is no confusion here, no randomness, even space itself is disciplined. You take your seat, not near the center, but not far enough to be forgotten. Placement in this world is meaning. To sit too close is presumption. To sit too far is surrender. Somewhere in between lies safety, the narrow ground of observation. The hum of conversation begins softly, like the tuning of an instrument. The sound never rises, only weaves. Words are chosen not for their truth, but for their texture. Laughter, when it comes, is light and measured, a sign not of joy, but of assurance. It signals belonging. You listen more than you speak. The patterns of speech, the pauses between sentences, the way one name is spoken with care, while another is omitted altogether. These are the subtle languages of the table. Across from you, a woman with bright earrings moves with practiced ease. Her gestures are fluid, her smile exact. When she looks your way, it is not unkind, but it lingers just a heartbeat too long. You lower your gaze, neither defensive nor receptive. The exchange is complete. The eunuchs serve without looking at faces. Their movements are steady, their expressions unreadable. Dishes appear and disappear with quiet rhythm. Bowls of pilaf, stewed figs, bread as light as breath. The scent of cardamom drifts briefly through the room, mingling with the sharper note of vinegar and the sweetness of sherbet. Everything here is balanced. Even the silence has its order. A spoon falls somewhere near the far end of the table. It is a small sound, but it travels. The moment stretches. A pause, almost imperceptible. Then the rhythm resumes, but you know the sound will not be forgotten. In the harem, every accident becomes story, every gesture becomes trace. You move slowly, careful with every motion. Each act, lifting a cup, breaking a piece of bread, touching the rim of your plate, carries its own language. The pace must never reveal hunger. Grace is sustenance, refinement is defense. To eat too quickly suggests impatience. To eat too little implies disdain. To ask for more is presumption. So you let each bite dissolve quietly, your posture straight, your hands still. The food is rich, the flavors layered. Saffron, pomegranate, honey, mint. But you taste them as though tasting memory rather than meal. Around you, the conversation continues in gentle waves. Topics are chosen with care. Verses, fabrics, the season's flowers, the sound of rain on the courtyard tiles. Nothing sharp, nothing real. Beneath the surface of each exchange runs a deeper current, unspoken yet understood. The meal itself is performance. The hall is its stage. Every woman here knows her part, the rhythm of response, the art of listening, the delicate management of silence. You catch fragments of talk, a new shipment of textiles from Bursa, a tutor's compliment, a passing mention of a favored musician. Each phrase floats like perfume, brief, decorative, controlled. A eunuch pours sherbet into your cup, chilled, fragrant with rose and lemon. You lift it, sip slowly, let the coolness rest on your tongue. It is sweet, almost too sweet. You look up once more. Across the room, a small group of older concubines exchange glances. Their expressions are composed, but their eyes flicker like small mirrors. The conversation near them has shifted, softer now, more intimate. You recognize the pattern. Someone has been chosen for attention. Not announced, not celebrated, simply noticed. Such moments unfold without sound but ripple through the air. No one names them, but everyone adjusts. You remain still. Stillness, you have learned, is its own kind of language. It does not attract, but it remembers. It lets others reveal themselves. By the time the last dish is cleared, the air has grown heavy with the scent of roasted almonds and smoke from the lamps. The servants move like shadows, gathering bowls, refilling cups, erasing evidence of consumption. The women rise in order, each with the same quiet grace. The hall, once bright, begins to dim as the lamps are lowered. You follow the others, moving toward the corridor that leads back to the private chambers. Behind you, the clink of silver fades. Ahead, the sound of footsteps merges with the soft rustle of silk. You feel neither full nor hungry, only aware. Dinner here is less about food than about measure, less about taste than about rhythm. To share a table in the harem is to enter a quiet negotiation of presence, of power, of restraint. You have not spoken more than a few words, yet you have been part of 100 conversations. Silent, precise, weightless. The woman with the bright earrings passes near you in the corridor. Her perfume lingers, a faint mix of orange blossom and musk. She does not speak. She doesn't need to. The evening has already said what needed to be said. When you reach your room, the night outside is darker, the wind from the Bosporus carrying the smell of salt and rain. You sit near the window and look out at the lights flickering across the water. It is quiet, but not entirely. The palace never truly sleeps. Somewhere, a door closes. Somewhere else, a voice murmurs a short prayer. You think of the meal again, of how so many gestures, glances, and silences coexist without collision. Everything in its place, everything in balance. Even uncertainty has its own order. You remember the bright earrings, the spoon that fell, the laughter that began and ended too soon. Each detail remains, small but distinct, like stars scattered across still water. There are no conclusions here, only continuations. The next meal will come, the same light, the same rituals, the same choreography of eyes and silence. You do not resent it. It is the rhythm of the palace, the shape of belonging. You lean back slightly, the quiet pressing gently against your thoughts. The robe you wore at dinner lies draped across the chair, the faint scent of saffron still clinging to it. You smooth the fabric with your hand. In the distance, the sea moves against the walls, steady and ancient. You think, not for the first time, that the palace itself eats and breathes, that every ritual, every small gesture feeds the larger life of the empire. You are one movement among many, one breath within the vast rhythm of order. You close your eyes for a moment. The scent of food, the murmur of voices, the flicker of lamplight, all of it lingers within you, soft and unhurried. You have dined in the Golden Hall, and you have survived another evening of grace and observation. Tomorrow, the same ceremony will return, and you will take your seat again, neither too near the center nor too far in shadow. In this place, balance is not learned once, it is practiced endlessly, like breathing. The night of summoning. Night in Topkapı settles like a veil, soft, weightless, deliberate. The palace breathes in silence. Even the wind along the Bosporus seems cautious as it moves past the latticed windows, carrying with it the faint scent of salt and the memory of day. The harem sleeps in fragments. Light sleep, shallow dreams, the kind that listen while they rest. Every woman lies beneath the same painted ceiling, yet each one drifts in her own small world, between waiting and forgetting, between what might come and what never will. The chambers are dim. The lamps have been lowered, their flames reduced to small, steady shapes of gold. You lie still, your head resting on the edge of your pillow, the silk cool beneath your cheek. The sound of your own breathing feels too loud, though the room is quiet. Then, somewhere beyond the door, footsteps begin, measured, slow, the sound of a eunuch moving through the corridor. Every night this sound arrives, and every night it carries the same question. It is not urgent, but it holds weight. The rhythm of the steps grows closer, not hurried, not hesitant, only certain. A faint whisper follows, the low rustle of fabric, the brief flicker of a lantern passing through shadow. You do not move. You do not need to. The ritual unfolds without you. A name is spoken soft enough to dissolve into the air before it reaches the walls. Not yours. Relief and something quieter. Not sadness, not envy, only awareness. pass through you like a breath. The woman whose name was called rises. There is no sound of protest, no rush of movement, only the small gestures of readiness, the folding of a shawl, the adjusting of hair, the light touch of a perfume vial. The door opens, closes again. The footsteps fade. And then the silence returns, deeper now, as though the palace has exhaled. You turn slightly, your gaze drifting toward the faint shimmer of lantern light filtering through the carved wooden screen. The patterns fall across the floor like thin threads of gold. You follow them with your eyes until they vanish into shadow. The harem remains half awake. Someone coughs softly. Another shifts beneath her covers. Then all is still again. You close your eyes, though sleep does not come. The night has its own rhythm, slow, patient, indifferent to desire. The Sultan's choice is always secret. No one asks, no one is told. Sometimes it is planned, sometimes impulsive, sometimes carried not by longing but by obligation or rumor. Each possibility is its own kind of truth, and none of them belong to you. You wait, not from hope, but from habit. Waiting here is as natural as breathing, a quiet discipline learned over time. To wait without expectation is a form of peace. To hope without speaking is a kind of endurance. You let your thoughts drift. Perhaps the chosen woman will return tomorrow radiant or weary or unchanged. Perhaps she will move to a new chamber closer to the center of the palace, where whispers grow quieter and eyes sharper. Perhaps she will remain invisible, her silence the only trace of what passed. In the harem, stories begin and end without witness. The only truth that endures is the rhythm of survival, who stays, who fades, who is remembered in the pattern of routine. You breathe slowly, feeling the air move against your lips. The silk of your pillow holds a faint scent of rosewater and sleep. Somewhere beyond the chamber, a bell marks the passing of an hour. The sound is delicate, almost transparent. It reminds you that night, like everything else here, is measured. You turn again, facing the wall this time, your back to the dim light. The stone feels cool through the fabric. You think of the sea beyond the palace, its endless motion, unbound by hierarchy or rule. The contrast is comforting. You have not been chosen. You remain within the circle of the unselected, those who wake tomorrow in the same bed, under the same ceiling, carrying the same quiet anonymity that protects as much as it confines. There is no shame in this. There is no victory either. It is simply another night passing, another rhythm completed. You let the thought settle, simple and unadorned. The palace sleeps, but never completely. Even now you can sense its awareness. The guards at their posts, the faint murmur of prayers, the movement of oil in the lamps. The air itself seems to observe, to remember. You wonder briefly if patience is the truest form of strength here. Not ambition, not beauty, just the quiet endurance of remaining unseen until the right moment asks for you. Sleep comes lightly, hovering at the edges. Your mind drifts between memory and imagination. The sound of the eunuch's footsteps still echoes faintly, repeating in the rhythm of your breath. You imagine them continuing down the corridor, steady, purposeful, untouched by the emotions they awaken. The sound fades, dissolves into the distance, and finally disappears. Silence follows, wide and complete. In that silence, you find a small sense of calm. Not comfort, but clarity. You belong to this stillness as much as you belong to the structure that surrounds it. You close your eyes once more. The night stretches on, long and unbroken. When morning comes, the first light will slip through the lattice windows, touching the floor in quiet gold. The palace will stir again, voices returning, lessons resuming, gestures repeating. You will rise as you always do, the unchosen, the untouched, the safe. And in the calm face of anonymity, you will find your strength again. The soft, steady rhythm of surviving another night in the golden cage. Patience is not resignation. It is the quiet art of staying whole while the world moves unseen around you. Here, in Topkapı, that is its own kind of power. The invitation. Days pass in their usual rhythm, steady and unremarkable. The mornings begin with prayer and lessons, the afternoons with quiet work or slow conversation. The harem seems at peace, but beneath the calm there is always motion. Soft, invisible, deliberate. Then one afternoon a messenger appears at your door. He carries a folded parchment sealed in imperial blue. Your name is written carefully across the front, the script elegant, measured, without ornament. You take it with both hands. The seal breaks easily under your thumb. Inside, the words are simple. You are summoned to assist the Valide Sultan in her charitable sewing circle. The invitation sounds gentle, almost kind, a gesture wrapped in courtesy. But kindness, in this place, often carries weight. It is never without meaning. You read the lines again, slowly, as though they might change. They do not. The next morning, you rise early. You prepare as you always do. Calm movements, quiet breath, no perfume too strong, no color too bold. To arrive too early is eagerness. To arrive late is arrogance. To arrive exactly on time is balance. The chamber of the Valide Sultan is bright, yet restrained. Sunlight filters through patterned screens, falling in soft shapes across the floor. The air smells faintly of sandalwood and thread. Around a long table sit the elder women, still graceful, surrounded by small piles of silk and linen. You bow, as custom demands, then take your place at the end of the table. Your hands move naturally to the needle and fabric before you, though your thoughts remain still. No one speaks for a while. The sound of stitching fills the room, the light pull of thread, the quiet rhythm of work. When questions come, they come softly, almost as part of the air. Where were you born? What books do you read? What music do you prefer? Each one is gentle yet exact. You answer as you were taught, honestly, but without weight. Truth can be graceful if shaped carefully. You speak of a small town near the coast, of lessons in poetry, of songs sung at dusk. Your words are simple without decoration. They fall lightly, leaving space for silence. The Valide Sultan listens, her face calm, her expression unreadable. Her presence is not loud, yet it fills the room completely. Her voice, when she speaks, is soft enough that even the thread seems to pause. She does not question you directly at first. She observes. The way you hold your needle, the way you sit, the space you take and do not take. When her eyes finally meet yours, the moment feels both brief and endless. There is no judgment in her gaze, only distance, a kind of quiet knowing. Then she smiles. not at you, but near you. A gesture that acknowledges without confirming. You bow your head slightly, the movement measured, your breath steady. Around you, the sound of sewing resumes, the conversation shifts elsewhere. The test, whatever it was, has passed without announcement. The rest of the afternoon unfolds in calm repetition. You stitch a border of tulips onto a piece of white silk. You listen to stories about distant cities, about gardens and seasons, about the memory of people no longer here. Your hands work, your thoughts drift, your expression remains composed. When the session ends, you rise with the others, bow again, and leave the chamber. No words follow you, no gestures call you back. The day seems unchanged. Yet, as you walk through the corridor, you feel a small shift in the air. The subtle awareness that you have been seen. Not chosen, not favored, simply noticed. By evening, the whispers begin. They travel quietly, like perfume in a still room. Your name is spoken with curiosity now, not indifference. A few glances linger when you pass. Nothing open, nothing certain, just the beginning of attention, cautious and slow. You do not react, you move as you always do, your pace even, your gaze calm. But inside you know that something has changed. In the palace, attention blooms quietly, like light through water. It begins as a reflection, then becomes a current. To welcome it is tempting, to fear it is wiser. That night you fold the sewing cloth neatly and place it beside your bed. The thread, still half used, glimmers faintly in the lamplight. You think of the Valid Sultan's eyes, calm, distant, precise. You will not know until later whether you were tested or merely observed. Whether this invitation was the beginning of favor or the quiet marking of your name. Either way, you have entered a different kind of waiting. Patience here is never still. It moves beneath the surface, shaping everything it touches. You exhale once, slowly. The room grows quiet again. Outside, the sea murmurs against the walls of the palace. You close your eyes and let the silence hold you. Not victory, not fear, only the delicate balance of being seen and the soft, uncertain bloom of what might follow. The tea and the bracelet. The invitation arrives folded in cream paper, sealed in gold. It bears the name of one of the Sultan's favored consorts, a woman spoken of with admiration and restraint. Her influence is understood rather than described. Her kindness, when it appears, is considered a form of privilege. You prepare carefully. The fabrics you choose are modest, the color soft. When you enter her chamber, the air carries the scent of rosewater and something sharper beneath it. Perfume and caution mingle easily here. You bow, then take the seat offered. She smiles with a practiced ease that belongs to those who no longer need to pretend. Between you, a tray of small porcelain cups rests upon a low table. Steam rises from the tea, delicate, floral, faintly sweet. Conversation begins as it always does, with politeness that feels both light and deliberate. She asks about your lessons, your reading, the music played in the courtyards. You answer as expected, briefly, clearly, without embellishment. Every word must seem effortless, as though honesty were a kind of ornament. When she speaks, her tone carries a rhythm you recognize, a way of turning sentences so that they are both elegant and edged. She talks of poetry and of politics, and you begin to sense how alike they are here, both shaped by the skill of suggestion. You nod at the right pauses, sip from your cup. and let her words unfold without interruption. It is not a conversation to win. It is a lesson in equilibrium. Your task is simple: to remain still enough to seem composed, yet alert enough to seem worthy of notice. When the tea ends, she thanks you with warmth that feels almost genuine. You bow again, stepping backward as custom demands, leaving the room as you found it, filled with grace and quiet tension. That night, when you return to your chamber, a small velvet box rests upon your pillow. Its presence is silent, its meaning uncertain. Inside lies a bracelet of turquoise stones set in fine gold, too beautiful to ignore, too deliberate to dismiss. You hold it for a moment, feeling its cool weight against your palm. No note accompanies it. No name claims it. Still, the air seems to shift around you. Gifts in this palace are never without consequence. To accept is to acknowledge, to refuse is to question. You choose the calmer path. You wear it. By morning, whispers have begun to move through the halls. They travel softly, spoken in passing, disguised as wonder. Some say it came from the Valide Sultan herself. Others say from the Sultan. None of it may be true, but truth has little power here. Only perception does. You smile when asked, your silence measured, your calm intact. In this world of mirrors and murmurs, restraint is protection, and poise a kind of prayer. The choice and the legacy. The letter arrives in the late afternoon, when the light has begun to turn to gold. It is sealed in blue wax marked with the insignia of the palace. The script is careful, the language formal, the meaning unmistakable. You have been chosen for elevation, a move to private quarters, closer to the Sultan's wing, closer to the quiet gravity of history. For a long time, you do not open it again. It lies on your table beside a bowl of figs and a folded scarf, ordinary objects that suddenly feel distant, almost belonging to someone else. The air in the room seems to shift, not with excitement, but with awareness. Everything you have done, every restraint and every silence has led here. You are being seen now, and being seen is never simple. Evening draws across the palace in gradual threads of light. The walls breathe with the sound of prayers, the slow movement of attendants closing shutters, the quiet footsteps of those who already know your news. You walk into the garden where the tulips lean toward the last of the sun. Their colors seem deeper in this hour, crimson, white, and gold, each bloom curving under its own beauty. You move carefully among them, your hands folded, as if to keep from touching anything that might alter your calm. The fountains speak softly, repeating what you already know. Your name is being carried through the corridors. By dawn, it will belong not to you alone, but to the narrative of the harem, that long, glimmering thread of ambition, grace, and uncertainty. You think of the girl who arrived here months ago, afraid even to lift her eyes. She had believed survival meant invisibility. Now she understands that it sometimes means the opposite. To endure being seen, measured, and remembered. As dusk deepens, the palace quiets. Lanterns bloom one by one along the arcades, their light gentle and disciplined. You pause beneath the cypress trees, feeling the air cool against your skin. Somewhere beyond the walls, the city continues. Merchants closing stalls, fishermen drawing in nets, children calling across the streets. Here, time feels slower, contained within the boundaries of ritual. When the summons comes, it is wordless. A eunuch appears at your door, bowing slightly, his expression neutral. He carries a single gesture of acknowledgement, enough to confirm what the letter has already promised. You follow him through the corridors, your steps soundless against the marble. Every turn feels both known and unfamiliar, as though the palace itself were testing your composure. At last you reach the threshold draped in silk curtains. The air beyond them is still, perfumed faintly with sandalwood and rose. For a moment, you stand without moving. This is the place where names are either preserved or forgotten. You know this, and yet you step forward. The fabric parts, and you cross into a quieter world. You do not think of triumph. You think of balance, of how thin the line has always been between honor and danger, between being chosen and being replaced. Perhaps this is what history feels like from the inside, not grand, not loud, but composed of steady breaths and deliberate motion. You remember the lessons: how to bow without lowering your gaze too far, how to speak without revealing thought, how to let silence carry meaning. They return to you now as instinct, as rhythm. You move through the room with measured grace, aware that your every gesture is being noted, not just by those present, but by the invisible weight of tradition itself. Beyond this night, the path divides in many directions. You might rise, becoming one of the remembered names that shape the politics of the court. You might fade, a quiet memory wrapped in silk and rumor. Or you might remain somewhere in between, the unseen intelligence that guides, steadies, endures. But the future is not for you to hold tonight. The present is enough. The air cool against your wrist, the scent of flowers carried through the open lattice, the sound of your own breath steadying into stillness. For a moment, everything feels suspended, not as choice, not as fear, but as clarity. You are not a myth, though stories will make you one. You are not a decoration, though beauty surrounds you. You are thought behind ceremony, composure shaped into form. You are the strategist wrapped in silk, the watcher behind the veil. When the palace finally turns toward dawn, you sit beside the window, eyes half closed. The world is quiet again. The Bosporus moves with its slow, eternal rhythm. The light grows pale and thin. You breathe once more, evenly. Outside, the tulips bow under the first touch of wind. Within, the scent of rose and candle smoke fades, and you sleep. Not as the chosen, not as the forgotten, but simply as one who has crossed the narrow bridge between safety and story and remained whole. May the night hold you softly, as silence folds around your thoughts like silk.